Welcome to the AI Applied podcast. Guys, today we have to talk about some incredibly controversial topics that Connor has been posting about on LinkedIn. He is going through the ringer and the people are in the comments coming for blood. So we got to break down what's going on. And this all stems from a story that there's an NBC News article, and it says University of Chicago law bans electronics in first year law class to combat AI. And Connor's take on this is that he agrees with them. So the people of LinkedIn are livid. How could he agree with banning AI while he hosts one of the #1 most popular AI podcasts in the world? So I'm going to kick this over to you, Connor, to explain yourself, your position, and what's going on with the University of Chicago.
You know, for the first time, Jaeden, this is going to sound ridiculous, but like, I was so incensed by the comments, and I love LinkedIn, guys, like, and I do, but like some of these comments, I was like, oh, I was so mad that I almost posted like a follow-up, but then I'm like, what are you doing? Like, just go to bed. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Kevin Durant with like my burner accounts and things. I'd be like, I don't know. I think Connor's amazing, right? So like, I was so tempted. But so the idea here is basically like, as Jaeden said, right? There's like it now. First of all, the headlines are like to ban AI. It's not exactly what's happening, but let's lean into that, right? So what's actually happening at the University of Chicago Law School only for first year law students. And by the way, this is not a podunk law school. This is the University of Chicago. So it's a device ban in the classroom. It's not an AI ban, right? So like in the classroom, no laptops, no phones, all pen and paper. Exams are all in class, no internet, no files, no apps. It's a Socratic message, all that kind of stuff. But there's not like take home stuff in the same way. Like students use AI for, research, but they also write without it. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is sort of this, because this is where the post blew up. I was like, you know what? I like this. And the reason that I like it, because people never read the post, but like the reason I like it, Jaeden, is that like it's a big swing. Jaeden, you have 4 kids. I have kids. Like we're all invested in the education system. I'm guessing folks out there have, some of you guys have kids too. We're invested in this, right? So first of all, I'm not saying ban AI in education. People are like, I can't believe you want to ban AI. I'm like, do you know what I do for a living? Like my entire way that I support my family, although my wife does a pretty good job herself. She's a big executive, so let's not pretend that I'm the sole breadwinner here. But the whole idea here is that like, let's take some big swings here, people, because people are like, AI has to fit into education. Just tell students to be better critical thinkers. I'm like, yeah, how's that working out for you? Do you know what I mean? Like it's not about banning AI in education. It is about taking big swings, and how we're doing anything other than complimenting somebody who's going out on a limb, University of Chicago, at law school level. So that's postgraduate. That's post, people are out of college. They need these critical thinking skills. This seems like a pretty good way to do it. Sit in the classroom. Don't have your laptops open. Don't do AI, all that kind of stuff. There's enough evidence. I'm trying to remember the Brown professor that showed this. I'm going to forget his name, but he was letting students do take-home tests, and then he switched it. And the huge delta between how well people did, it was like people were getting 95s, and then they got like 18s on the exam after AI. So to say that students aren't using AI is kidding ourselves. That doesn't mean that we just put our finger in the dam. What it does mean, Jaeden, in my mind, and I think you're going to be on my side on this actually, is let's let people take big swings. This is not a federal mandate to ban AI. This is a reputable law school with just the first year saying, hey guys, like let's just pull back on AI for this time and place. Jaeden, people lost their mind. They're like, so you want to, why not like let them have, wood burning stoves too, like whatever. And I'm like, Jaeden, all that is to say, even without the news story for a second, I am in favor of big swings. Like, and I'm in favor of the man in the arena, so to speak. Like, give something a whirl, because AI, guys, people say, like, I'm on stage a lot, and people always, do you think it's going to destroy critical thinking? And I say, yes. Yes, I do. What do you want me to say? Like, calculators destroyed math. Does that mean calculators are bad? No, it just means that people aren't good at math anymore as much. So anyway, the people who will survive are like, you don't have people in hedge funds who are just like, it's not like because you have a calculator now anybody can join a hedge fund.
Right.
People who decide to be great at math and lean in are going to get those jobs. This just democratizes a lot. People who are good at critical thinking and decide they're going to figure out how to learn and use their brain are going to be good in the workplace. This is not just AI lets everybody do everything. It's not like that. You still need human judgment. Jaeden, I'm going to calm myself down. I'm going to drink some tea or something here. Tell me your thoughts on this, because if you disagree, let's get this out.
It's time to brawl. No, so I have a couple thoughts, and mine might be just as controversial, but my thoughts are some people are motivated people, and some people are not motivated people. And I don't think that a calculator being invented means that someone that is a mathematician at a hedge fund, I don't think the calculator would have stopped them from doing that. I think if you really love math and you really love getting into numbers, a calculator is not going to all of a sudden just cull your like ability to pursue that passion, right? And the same thing with like creative writing. It's like, well, I'm like, I love creative writing. I really want to be a creative writer, but ChatGPT can do some creative writing things. So I'm just not even going to try. Like, I just feel like if that's where someone's headspace is at, they're like intrinsically not very creative. And the reason why is like, for me, and I know this will sound like super dumb to people probably, but I genuinely love design when it comes to like websites. Since I was like 14 years old, I've been designing websites for my dad. He had a company online. I just love making the banners. I love making the UI look nice. It's just something that like, it's not even my full-time job, but because I have like other designers on my team at AI Box that help me do that kind of stuff. But it's just something I love. I have an eye for design. It's just what I like to do. Because ChatGPT and Claude can help with design, does that all of a sudden make me be like, oh man, I gotta like rethink myself?
Exactly.
No, like
exactly.
The design, the taste, it's so important. How you connect things. Like I'm gonna refine it. I'm gonna use that tool to speed up the process. Like, am I sad that I don't have to go into Figma and figure out 1,000 different settings and figure out how to drag little boxes around to line things up? No, like that's horrible. That's the worst part of it. Like, let AI do that for me. And then I'm like, change the colors, change the sheen, change the style, move it around, delete this page, consolidate these things. Like, I know it sounds funny, but like, that's what I love to do. And so AI is not taking that away from me. So if you are motivated and you love to do something, there's no way that AI is going to kill that, in my opinion. So AI, not bad, not killing things. That being said, when it comes to an academic platform and you're trying to test something out, like figure out how good people are at a task, I think, yeah, why if the task doesn't warrant AI, don't give them AI. If you're trying to do a critical thinking class or a debate class, and the point of the class is not to have an unlimited access to a library, and you have to try to do it off the top of your head because maybe you're going to be in places where you're doing public presenting. I don't really know. I'm trying to think of like classes where this would be a good case, and I don't know exactly what law. I mean, yeah. Right. Anyways, if there's certain situations where you wouldn't have access to AI, test them without AI. You go to the test, like when I was in college, go to the testing center. You don't have access to the internet for certain tests. I had teachers that would make us hand write out our entire 5-page thing. Was it annoying? Yes, but that's just what she wanted to do. She wanted to have us go in there and just practice writing 5 pages on a piece of paper. And if that's what she wants to do in her class and that's what she wants to test, whatever. That's fine. I'm sure I got something out of that. I learned something from that experience. That's fine. But at the end of the day, it's like, maybe there are some tests where you should use AI. Maybe there's some tests where it is useful. But, you know, some tests you have a calculator, some tests you don't. Anyways. So my thing is, if this guy wants to do that, that's whatever.
So first on your first point, I totally agree about it's not like this makes everybody great. So, you know, I found this with, you know, my colleague Robert, who you know too, who's like a phenomenal, the best at AI that I know kind of, but he's also just this phenomenal designer, right? He has like this graphic artist eye, all that sort of stuff. He did this for big consulting firms for a long time before he joined AI Mindset. The idea was that like, he and I could sort of like start with the same idea. It's like, hey, I want to sort of like create sort of something that invokes, you know, typing, but with AI. And I'll put in that. And then Robert will do the same thing, same tool, and his will be magnificent because he understands how to guide it. It's why not everybody's going to become a Martin Scorsese because they have the tools. Like what Martin Scorsese films on an iPhone is not going to be what I film on an iPhone, right? In terms of like movie directing and things like that. So I love that. And also, you know, not all jobs are created equal here. So I don't need, you know, a marketing program or something like that to sort of like ban AI for whatever. I would think that would be counterintuitive. I think that, you know, if you're talking about marketing, and Jaden's, you know, one of the best marketers I've ever met just because of the way your brain thinks, like you need to know how much this could expand your thinking in marketing. Do you know what I mean? Like you need to be using AI from the get-go, because I don't really care how kind of like naturally intelligent or what kind of critical thinker Jaeden is, if he's going to create my market. This is not obviously not what you do, but like if you're going to create my marketing campaign, because I just know that you're going to use AI just the way Robert uses AI. However, That's not law, guys. Law is like the last citadel of truth in our nation, right? I mean, like if you're a business and you're like, I need to know whether this is right or wrong, you go to a lawyer because their job is to figure out whether it's right or wrong. That's where I want my critical thinkers. I would say the same with consulting and strategy, to be honest. Like I need to know that there's a good critical thinker behind AI. And when people lose their mind, they're like, you got to integrate it now. I'm like, no, what you need to do is like know that they have something good underneath that for AI to augment. Otherwise, there's no talent. Otherwise, then you're really kind of like cutting everybody down to the lowest common denominator. So I love this approach. I'm not saying that every law school should do it, although I don't know if it works. Why not? I am saying that to your point, like, Finn is going to be a high school senior. Lucy's going to be a high school sophomore. Your kids are a little bit behind that at this point. But Jaeden, again, you have 4, right? Like, are you going to just sort of say like, hey, when they get older, like use whatever tools you want and write this paper? Like, no, of course not. Like, we need to know. This is why when people are making fun of like, I can't believe they're handwriting things in blue books. I'm like, heck yeah, handwrite things in blue books. And again, that's coming from a guy who believes completely firmly in AI and AI's role in education. But there's certain things you just are going to have to learn.
Okay. And now I will make a slight counterpoint to this, which is, I mean, maybe they're doing something great, but like I will put a caveat on this, which is I was recently talking to a friend of mine this week, actually. And he used to work at like one of the biggest law firms, used to work at Sullivan and Cromwell. So massive law firm. And he's since moved. He's now, so he was like working there internationally in like Germany or whatever. Now he's moved to live closer to where I'm at right now. Better family life, better balance, works at a smaller firm and whatever, loves it. But anyways, all this to say, he was telling me that this week he had a big IPO merger deal that he was working on, and they wanted him to go find a bunch of similar IPO merger contract specifications from other companies that had went public in these type of merger things, whatever, and help to use that to help make sure that their templates are all accurate for a deal they're working on. He said, it's a smaller firm that he's at now. It's not like small, but it's smaller. And he's like, back when I worked at Sullivan and Cromwell, I would have like people that were, they're researching this stuff for me. They were, they were going and gonna find this for me. And he had a whole team that would help him. He's like, now it's just me. So he's like, for the first time ever, I went to Claude and I typed in, how do I find this? He said there's like and I'm not a lawyer, so if you're a lawyer, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but he said there's like a certain database, a government database, where all of these types of contracts are all filed publicly, but it's an absolute nightmare. It's super hard to navigate and find. So he went to Claude and said, go to this government database and go find this specific type of contract and all the instances you can and bring them to me. It went and found all of those, and he said it was like the greatest thing ever because that would have taken him so much time. So my only like caveat on all of this is, like, don't tell your students they can't use AI. Even in law, I think that would be pretty bad.
Agreed.
And we've all heard the stories of like lawyers getting in trouble in the early days of ChatGPT when they like bring a case to court and something that was cited in there is like, a hallucinated case that didn't exist. And then everyone's like, see, look, AI is bad or whatever. No, the lawyer is bad. What do you mean? He didn't go and review the case. He didn't fact check. Like he read an article online that referenced something and he didn't do the research of clicking through and making sure it was accurate. Like that's on him. Like there's nothing to do with, I mean, sure, like AI can mess up sometimes, but Google can mess up. People can say all sorts of crap on the internet. And so like, if you're a lawyer, your job is to verify and make sure everything's factually correct. But when it comes to gathering that data, coming up with good argument ideas, putting things together, like, AI is going to be the best and is, great for it. So anyways, I get the idea. I like the sentiment. It's good to make people just do things off the dome beyond just AI. I mean, like I had that teacher that would go and make us write a whole report on paper. And while I hated it at the time, I'm like, you know what? That's probably good for me. Like I probably learned something. So I'm not, if that's what someone wants to do, fantastic. At the end of the day, as long as the overlying impression isn't like, do this because AI is bad or it's going to, negatively impact your career. Obviously, you're going to need AI in your career for whatever you're doing in the future.
Totally agree. And it's a moment in time. It's a way of building a certain muscle. This is just them trying to build the muscle. This is not pro AI or anti AI. I totally agree. Listen, guys, thank you for sort of like always joining us on LinkedIn. Believe me, you're going to want to follow Jaeden on LinkedIn too. Like he cracked me up actually a lot on LinkedIn. But otherwise, listen, if you haven't left a rating and review, we would absolutely love it. As you know, again, you know who you are. So if you've already done it, and you are a big follower of the show, the way to say thank you is get somebody else to do it. Get your mom to do it. She's dying to do this for you guys. Like, just say like, Mom, this is what I want for my birthday. Listen, everybody, we will see you on the next episode. Always thanks for tuning in.